Hey guys, welcome back to Population 1. As you can see, we are here in the lobby where this is where we usually spawn just before we have a game. In this tutorial, what we're going to be doing is looking at the guns that you're using, the weapons that you're using, giving you some tips on what you could be changing to in order for you to level up and go to that next stage. As well as we're going to be looking at builds and how those builds can help you not just defend yourself from being shot at, which is really important, but also how to use them offensively, such as shooting over them, using them as a kind of a barrier, or also peeking over the map and actually getting a little bit of extra height. So without further ado, let's get straight in. We're going to look at two guns. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to go down here and grab this one. Okay, let's go over to the wall. I'm going to put a target up there. Okay, so this first gun we've got here is the CX4. And the CX4 is a great gun. It's kind of a gun with stabilizers, let's say, because when you shoot it, it doesn't have any recoil or move in any kind of weird direction. So it's really easy to use when you're a beginner. So, for example, if I want to shoot this, I'm doing this one-handed. If I want to shoot the target, you see it's fairly easy for me to control that and get the bullseye. Additionally, if I hold it with two hands, it makes it even easier. This is a great gun. As you can see, we got 30 rounds in here, and but the one problem with this gun is it does shoot fairly slowly. It's pretty obvious. It's bum, 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 bum. It's fairly easy to get away from this if you're any good at the game. And so it's won me a few games, especially if you're getting a purple one, a 3-star, or a gold. It's great for shooting long range. So if I am shooting somebody over, let's say, coming out from Summit over there, I'm going to be able to get them from this distance. It's a great gun, but we're going to improve on this one. I'm going to come back to that later. So, next gun we've got here is the UMP. This gun, again, has some pretty good control. There's not much recoil with this. By the way, the ammo in this is the SMG, which is the orange ammo, and with the CX4 we've got the assault rifle ammo, which is the yellow ammo. This one, you can hold it with two hands. Even more well controlled. This is a good gun, and I've won a lot of games with it, but we can do better, okay? The reason why beginners like this is because it's really easy to control. One problem with this gun is it does lack long distance. So if I go backwards, try and get away from this target, and try and shoot now the bullseye, you're going to see this. I'm not hitting exactly the bullseye on most of them. I'm missing them a little bit. So the further you go away, the harder this gun becomes. Okay, what should we change it to? The gun I recommend you change to is the AKM. So this is your assault rifle gun. This is going to shoot a lot faster than the CX4. And I've won a lot of games with this gun. So this is what I recommend you upgrade and maybe practice for the next couple of weeks and really get used to this. Now this gun, you're gonna have to adapt to the recoil. So if we get close, I'm gonna show you what that recoil looks like on the wall. So notice it's shooting upwards, it gets a little bit more at here, and then it deviates to the left. So to combat that, we want to pull the gun down. So if you're holding it with two hands, you want to just pull it down gradually. So notice I'm getting my target there. It's not moving up. The same if you're shooting it with one hand. I'm not very good at that. It's a lot more in the same area. So this gun has a little bit of a recoil. You want to put it down as you're shooting. And the more you practice, the better you will become with this gun. This gun is going to help you so much more. Right, the next gun we're going to look at is going to be the P90 or the Uzis. My favorite is the Uzis, but let's stick with the P90 right now. So the P90, again, has a recoil. So it shoots 50 bullets. This is a 2-star, it's going to shoot 50. 3-star is going to shoot 55, and then 60 for the gold. So if you get your target with this, you're going to kill them, period. It shoots really fast, much faster than the UMP. This one is probably one of the hardest to manage in terms of recoil. If I do it one hand, you're going to see it shoots up. So shooting this one-handed, if you're any good with it, you're going to be a genius. I mean, I can't shoot this one-handed, but I can definitely shoot this two-handed. Again, exactly the same principle goes, where you want to pull the gun downwards. So you want to counteract that recoil. So let's try and get this here. Notice I'm keeping it close to the bullseye as possible. So this one, that's what I recommend. Get rid of the UMP, get on this one. As I'm here, I want to go with the Uzis. Now I love these guns for a couple of reasons. One, you have 2, so you get to shoot twice. You can shoot 2 people at the same time as well with this gun, which I've done a couple of times. But what I like about this is the laser, so you can really like zoom in. My recommendation with this is put your arms straight out. Don't keep them close to your chest. It's going to be more difficult for you to control them. Keep them face out. And learn about their recoil. So for example, come up to a wall, come up close, and just shoot them. Hold them normally, so don't try and counter anything. So notice that they're going upwards and then slightly close together. So you want to compensate for that. You want to counteract it by putting down a little bit. There we go. If you change your weapons to these, you are definitely going to be winning more games. Okay. The last thing I recommend, especially if you're new, is this gun. One of my favorites. Now this gun is called the AWP. It's a rifle. It takes the red ammo. What I love about this gun is that you can shoot things really long range. So for example, you can see those like towers over there in Complex 76. If I look at that, I can see people on the top. Notice I'm at times 2, so I'm doubling the magnification. If I push on the right hand joystick forward, actually magnifies that twice as much, so I can really aim for that headshot. This is a great gun because when you're starting out in Population 1 for the first time, you're not going to be that great. You're not going to be able to make those builds. You're not going to be able to move to avoid gunshots as easily as you will do when you become a little bit more of a pro. So fighting from a distance is a really good way of supporting your stronger teammates. Allow them to push forward, but then hold back a little bit and try and pick off the enemies with the AWP. You get a lot of damage on this gun, so you can build up your damage and get your kill count that way. One thing you want to take into mind is that when you're aiming at somebody, if they're still, you can aim on top of that person's head. So you can just join that dot to their head, and you'll be able to shoot. But there'll be a bit of time for that bullet to travel all the way there. So depending on how close they are, you want to have this a little bit away from them. So if they're moving, let's say from the truck over towards this side, let's say I'm aiming for this light and the truck is moving, I want to aim around about here. Yeah, I don't want to aim right on it. I want to aim just a little bit over so that by the time it moves over, I would have hit that shot. Play around with it and see what it's like. This gun's great. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do it with a pistol because it's a lot easier to control a pistol. Actually, I will get a P90 or something like that, or the AK. Okay, so the next part of this is using builds. So if you take away all the guns in your hands, you come up with your bare hands, you're going to be able to build. And a lot of people will use builds to kind of create like a little safety barrier from whoever's shooting at them so they can run away from it. But you don't have to just use these for that reason. Let's say, for example, you know that there's some fighting going on over in the gun store, just over here. And you're here. You can create a build here. Build upwards. And now you can get whoever is over here, or use this as a springboard to fly over this building, clear a lot more ground than you would be if you're running, and then get them this way. And if you're getting shot, you can always fall back onto this little ledge so you don't have to hold on to it. Now, there is one problem with building so high, is it makes you a target, and also your builds are very susceptible to being shot down. So you do want to be careful when you are using these, but I have seen so many amazing players build up super high just so that they can fly or that they can snipe from a really long distance. So play around with them. You can also build over people. So if you're really quick with you can build over your enemy to confuse them. And create a little bit of a maze for them to get through to make it not easy. So anyway, guys, that's about it for this tutorial. Let's just do a quick recap. So we looked at guns, moving from the UMP over to the Uzis or the P90. P90 is great, it's difficult to use. Uzi is two-handed, you can't climb with it, so you're going to have to put them away when you do want to climb. But those ones, I love them. That's the type of gun that I always carry when I'm playing myself. And moving from the CX4 over to the AK. So if you can actually practice with that AK, get good with it, you're definitely going to see your damage count increase, your win count increase, your kills, etc. And then lastly, use that AWP. That AWP is such a lethal gun. It's a brilliant one, just popping people from nowhere when they least expect it. And you can get, what, like 164, I think, on the gold AWP head count. So remember that damage is higher if you get them in the head than it is the body, but it's a little harder to catch them. Okay, that's weapons. Rest of the weapons, because you've got 2 more spaces, I would recommend take shields and a sword. That's what I recommend. Take like soda pops or shield pops, shield sodas. 6 of those, that will give you a full health, and you can always drop them for your friends when you need to revive them. And then also the builds. So make sure you're out there building. Don't just build defensively, to build aggressively. Try to use them as a weapon in your arsenal rather than just something that you want to defend yourself with. Anyway, guys, I hope you liked this video. Leave a like or a comment below. I'm always coming up with different ideas of what people need to know when they're starting out on Population 1. So if you have any ideas for me to create a video in the future, leave a comment below, let me know, or reach out with me directly. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Take care, everyone. Ciao.